So let's look at some of the advanced menu tabs. When I click advanced, it takes me to that and I have all these different options. Now monitor, as we discussed, is an overall view of the wireless LAN controller and anything that's connected to it. Also, it'll bring up any rogues I find, statistics, wireless LAN and clients. The wireless LANs menu gives us access to the wireless LAN configurations, SSIDs we have created, security policies, and any AP groups, access point groups that we've set up. Now, the controller side is the configuration of our inventory, our interfaces, multicast, our DHCP, mobility, anything like that. And then on the other side of that is wireless. It allows us to look at anything related to the APs, advanced load balancing or band select, global settings, radio resource management, application and visibility, and country or quality of service. So let's actually look at those. Remember, I'm in my dashboard now. If I want to look at those tabs, I need to click on advanced. When I click on advanced, I go back here. Now we can see I have monitor, like I said, that gives me that overall view, including our access point summary, our client summary, even our controller summary. Our rogues are right here, listed right here, all the rogue devices in my environment. You can see a lot of APs in this area going. Top wireless LANs, all that information available. Wireless LANs, again, when I click on that, you can see the SSIDs I have, and I can even dive into this wireless LAN by clicking on the wireless LAN ID. You can see the profile name as well, but to go into this wireless LAN, I click on the number and it dives directly in. We've gone into Wireless Lab 1 now to actually make some configuration changes, security, quality OS, policy mapping, advanced, all stuff we'll talk about a little later. If I click on controller, we can see that we have all the controller, what it's named, wireless LAN controller lab in this case, the flow control link aggregation if enabled. It's not for this particular one. AP, IPv4, IPv6, all these different configurations available here. We can even change the web color scheme to red if we wanted to. I'm going to do that. Let's see what that does. Okay. Now we'll go to wireless. This shows us all the wireless access points. And I can jump directly into this wireless access points by clicking on them at any time. AP Closet 1, we look into it, we can see all the configurations for that particular one. So those are the first 4 tabs and what they do. Be very mindful of how they interact with each other. Remember, home is dashboard unless you go here to settings and you change this. If you change this, you can change the landing page to monitor the advanced configuration if you want. You just have to be aware of it. All right, so here we can even see an overall view. I have 1, 2, 3 ports active. They're active in green, and 1 red, not active at the moment. So that's a breakdown of those first 4 tabs. What about the next 4 tabs, you say? Well, here we go. Next 4 tabs are incredibly important. First off is security. Now, security is especially important. If you are going to implement a radius or TACAC server, you need to come here to set that up in your wireless LAN controller, okay? Local EAP configuration, if you're running EAP on your wireless LAN controller, this is where you do it. ACL configurations and any other policies to protect the RF environment, certificates, ACLs, anything like that. We also have our commands ability, which gives us our option for uploads, downloads, time configuration, things like that. Our management actually provides us with SNMP, our serial port control, Telnet, and SSH support. Remember, Telnet, not the best way to go. Local management of user accounts, access to message logs, things like that is in our management area. And last but not least, feedback. This gives us direct access to Cisco and give them detailed feedback or suggestions for what's going on. So let's take a look at those options in the real world. First off, we'll start with security. As you can see here, I have nothing set up. We have nothing. So let's take a look at a radius server. I could put in a TACAX or even a general configuration for AAA management. So maximum local database on next reboot. Current maximum is 2048. So LDAP, if we have any LDAP servers that we wanted to add, so I could set up a new LDAP server. MAC filtering, if I want to implement that. If I want to set up authorization for a TACAC server, I could. If I wanted to set up accounting for a Radius server, I could. Authentication for my Radius server, I could. New. You see, this is where we set up all those different configurations. Local EAP, our profiles we may want, new. Then I can apply a profile name, so on and so forth. So anything related to security, including priority order, our certificates, our access control lists, wire protection policies. Like I said, we're going to talk about all these in depth later. I just want you to know where to find them and what these different tabs do. Our management tab is next up on the list. It allows us to look at SNMP, HTTP, HTTPS, Telnet, and SSH. Maximum timeout, maximum number of sessions, allow new Telnet sessions, no, allow new SSH sessions, yes. So I like this because Telnet is disabled in this particular configuration. Our serial port configuration is here. You can see 9600, 8, disabled, and stop. User sessions, all that information here under management. Next up, our commands list. We see our download file, upload file, reboot, config boot, scheduled reboot. This is good for any type of maintenance windows you may have. Factory default resets. I've actually used that before. Our set timer and our login banner. You can let people know what your login banner says. And then last but not least, our feedback. This opens up a website that allows you to look at our management product feedback, where you can actually go through and let them know how you feel about that particular product. So lots of information there on that advanced menu tabs. And then last but not least, our wireless LANs. Now, I already covered this, but you can take a look here at wireless LANs. But what they really want you to know here is there's an advanced section. And you can't really see this too well on the screenshot, so let's jump out into the real environment. So when we look at wireless LANs in our advanced configuration, you see here a menu on the right. And this menu on the right, you mouse over it, and it gives you a lot of options. You can set up Hotspot 2.0, service advertisement, foreign maps, 802.11u, mobility anchors, or you could remove this wireless LAN altogether. So be very mindful of what you can do from this as well. I always get caught in clicking remove because, watch this, when I click immediately as though it was a click, a click menu. It's not, it's a mouse over menu. So I get caught with that a lot by trying to click on it like so, and then it asks me if I want to delete my wireless LAN, which I don't want to do. But there are some options there that aren't available in other areas. So be aware we have the ability to remove mobility anchors, 802.11u. See, I did it again, didn't I? You just scroll over it and then the options are available.